people who don't have health insurance are in that category between Medicaid, going right up to the same economic level of people who have insurance. They just are not maybe fortunate enough to work for the right employer or have enough money to buy health insurance, or maybe they don't want to pay it. And you do. But they do buy things. They have televisions. Some of them have cars. These all cost money, right? Some of them maybe have iPhones. I don't know. What you have to do is you've got to start figuring out a way to get a lot of those people who are covered by employers to start buying health insurance in an open market, in a big market, all over the country, no barriers. It'll bring the price down. It'll bring the price down to the level in which the people who don't have insurance can afford it. And when you create the incentives of a health savings account, which can give you equity, you'll get more and more people to buy it. Or put a different way, if instead of having 17 million people that buy private health insurance, we had 50 million people buying private health insurance, the cost would go down by 75%. And we'd all be able to afford it. And the quality would go up. Just like the iPhone. By the way, the iPhone now costs, I think, $399. When it came out, it cost $599. So the kid isn't going to buy it yet. But it isn't 6 months yet. And I think he may just make it. One last question. And thank you for wearing the Rudy shirt.
Thank you. My first question is, next time you're running late, could you call ahead and open up the bar?
How old are you?
I'm old enough.
You got a card? You got a card? All right, okay. Well.
And then my question is, I understand your opinion on remaining on the offense against the war on terror and not stopping until we receive a win. But I deal with conflict, as I'm sure most people do, every day. I'm a preschool teacher, and a lot of the time spent during the day is dealing with conflict, and we try to have the children work it out themselves to the best of their ability, but there does come a point as a teacher where you have to step in and put an end to it. And I was just wondering if you as a president have thought about a time that would come in the war where you would have to step in and just put an end to it.
Sure. I can tell you in general when you would put an end to any war or any conflict. It would be when your generals, your commanding officers, and your military told you, we can't win this anymore. And you believed it. And you should get more than one source of information. Meaning, it shouldn't just be one bit of information, but I'm sure the president has numerous sources of information about what's going on in Iraq. But if no matter what the media is saying, if the people that are there on the ground are telling you that we can win this, or we can succeed, or we need more time to succeed, then your inclination has to be to go with that. Because there are very few wars we've ever been in when there haven't been periods of time when it looked like we should pull out. You could describe even the Second World War, which was one of our most glorious victories, right? And probably the victory that might have saved civilization. And one of our biggest losses, except for the Civil War. I think it was about 500,000 people. Even in that war, we had a terrible reversal at the Battle of the Bulge. It wasn't just a reversal, it was a terrible, colossal intelligence failure, breakdown. The Germans had all their troops on the Russian front. And we were marching through France and heading into Germany, and Eisenhower announced by Christmas time we were going to liberate Berlin. What Hitler did for months, without telling anybody, and by giving false codes to fool us, was to move hundreds of thousands of German troops from the Russian front to the German-French front. We didn't know about it. In fact, I think he may have even given false messages. So we thought he was moving more troops to the Russian front. So we thought that we would not encounter too much resistance marching right into Berlin. All of a sudden, we started to encounter resistance. And then hundreds of thousands of German troops came storming across the German-French border and drove us all the way back across France. We lost more troops in the Battle of the Bulge than any other battle in the Second World War. You can find many families in this country who lost somebody in the Battle of the Bulge, all over the country. It was a colossal defeat for us. And if we had had maybe the kind of thing we have today and this kind of impatience, it might have led to... Hitler did it, actually, because he thought he could break our resolve. He didn't think he could defeat us, but he thought he could get us to kind of make a deal, to allow him to continue his war against the Soviets, continue his war in Eastern Europe, and maybe he'd give back some of Western Europe. He could make a deal to survive. And if we were a different kind of people, a different kind of leadership, maybe that could have happened. That's what he was trying to do. Well, some of that's going on here. I mean, there's psychology to war. And the gentleman that asked me the question before, I think, hit on it, you know. So you got to go with what people, and when I listened to General Petraeus' testimony, it seemed to me that it was more than just a ray of hope. It seemed to me that pretty realistically they had achieved a lot. The goal is a really important one. If we can come out of Iraq with a country that is helping us in the terrorist war against us, we will go a long way to defeating them. If we can combine it with stopping Iran from becoming nuclear, if we can redouble our efforts in Pakistan, Afghanistan, in that area, and make sure that the Taliban and Al-Qaeda just don't come back, don't reemerge. And then if we can engage a lot of these Middle Eastern countries in business, the ones that want to engage with us, it's not all war, and it's not all military, and it's not all aggressive questioning. It's also a lot more commercial engagement, cultural exchanges. We should learn more about the Eastern world, about the Middle Eastern world, about Asia. It is more important than ever for Americans to know about the world now, and for the youngsters you're teaching. Because their success is going to be determined by how well we navigate ourselves through this world that we live in. There are exciting opportunities. And every once in a while you do have to step in and just exert control, right? And that's why we need the military in the bigger context. And remember, the terrorists that we're dealing with are not as well motivated. I mean, these are really some pretty bad people. And this idea that you can talk to all of them isn't true. You can't talk to people who are vowed on destroying you. What are you talking to them about? If somebody vows to destroy you and your family, exactly what are you negotiating with them? How fast they do it? So there are times in which you have to assert power as a way of defending yourself. You don't want to do it.